Hello, thank you for joining us for our presentation as we describe our Academic Champs program. This program will be addressing the needs of black male student athletes using Camp's practice to theory to practice model. The presenters will be Daniel Lee, Alan Lemos, Morgan Sibley, and Matthew Smith. A few of the concerns that need to be addressed are the underrepresentation of black males on college campuses and the overrepresentation of black males in major revenue-generating sports, such as football and basketball. Secondly, black male athletes graduate at rates lower than all undergraduate students. This paper will use Camp's practice to theory to practice model to provide challenge and support intended to close the achievement gap and improve the career trajectory of black male athletes. We will target predominantly white institutions with major revenue-generating sports. Psychosocial and environmental theories will be used to address retention, graduation, and professional development for black male athletes. The mission of Academic Champs is to create a holistic and transformational learning experience for black male student athletes. We believe by helping students to develop their identity and providing appropriate challenge and support, we will increase career readiness and improve graduation rates. In order to create a transformational learning experience for our black male student athletes, we developed 5 learning domains: professional development, life skills manager, educated person, and leadership. By addressing these issues, we expect to be able to help students graduate from college and prepare them for a professional career after they leave. The interventions we will address will consist of a life skills course, an academic advising program, and an annual summit and a career readiness program. The interventions aim to deconstruct dualistic thinking regarding black male athletes' future career aspirations. The intervention's learning outcomes are to help black male athletes integrate into the campus community, to increase awareness of college and career opportunities, and to create a smooth transition from college athletics to the workforce. We will assess the learning outcomes through semi-structured interviews, survey findings, and written reports.
Most young black men dream to be a professional athlete one day, mainly because their role models are high-profile athletes. Data shows that 3.6% of black men are represented in the NCAA Division I institutions, and 55.3% of the black male students are basketball and football players. Most black male athletes come from low-income households and are first-generation students. Due to lack of knowledge of resources on college campuses, black male athletes have low career aspirations. One of the biggest issues for black male athletes are most of the students attend college because they want to pursue a career in a professional sport. This is an issue because only 1.6% of college athletes receives a chance to play at the professional level. Research shows that GPA and graduation rates of a black male athlete is significantly lower than their white counterparts. This is another problem because black male athletes go to college for their athletic abilities and generate high revenues for their institution, but they do not reap any benefits for their future after college. Media portrays NCAA Division I athletes as celebrities in their institution, which causes most people to assume that student athletes are celebrated all the time by their campus community and that they most likely succeed after college. However, this is not true for most black male athletes. They face negative stereotypes from their peers, faculty, and the rest of the community. For example, black male athletes are known to be dumb jocks and have little faith in their academics. This causes the black male athletes to isolate themselves from the rest of their undergraduate community, and this is dangerous because the athletes fail to recognize multiple identities. Due to their isolation, Black male athletes tend to not use the provided campus resources, which makes it difficult for them to graduate from college and attain a career after college other than professional sports.
We will be basing our PTP project on two theories: Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory and Marsh's ego-identity statuses. First, I will discuss Bronfenbrenner's theory. This theory describes how the interaction between a person and environment can affect identity development. Environmental factors can help identify barriers to retention and professional development Black male athletes face at a predominantly white institution. The theory breaks down the environment into four parts: the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, and macrosystem. The microsystem includes activities and relations in a person's immediate environment affecting their development. This includes peers, faculty, coaches, and parents. The mesosystem accounts for interactions between microsystems. Expectations and relations between microsystems can be inconsistent and inhibit development. Beyond the mesosystem is the exosystem. The exosystem includes processes between two or more surroundings that do not typically contain the person. One example is the interactions between coaches and NCAA regulations that can indirectly affect Black male athletes. The largest environment that encompasses all the other systems is called the macrosystem. The macrosystem accounts for the socialization process a person experiences from birth that consciously or unconsciously shapes personal goals and expectations. Bronfenbrenner explains how the macrosystem may be thought of as a social blueprint for a particular culture, subculture, or other broader social context. The socialization process Black male athletes face from a young age increases the importance of athletic ability, resulting in challenges to personal and professional development at a predominantly white institution. Next, I will be discussing Marsh's ego-identity statuses. This theory helps educators understand the crisis that typically occurs in late adolescence before students can reach identity achievement. Two main components of Marsh's theory is a psychosocial crisis and an ideological commitment. Crisis occurs when an adolescent enters a period of engagement choosing among meaningful alternatives. Commitment refers to the degree of personal investment the individual exhibits. As you can see, the combination of if a student is in crisis and/or commitment makes up Marsh's theory. We will begin in the lower right corner of the chart in foreclosure. Students typically enter college in the foreclosure status and have not experienced a crisis and are committed to the identity established by authority figures and society. A Black male athlete who is fixated on their athletic identity may demonstrate behaviors associated with the foreclosure status. The microsystem can reinforce the student's athletic identity, limiting their personal and professional development. Based on the characteristics previously discussed, it may seem many Black male students do not surpass the foreclosure status. Marsh's next status is identity diffusion. In this status, students are not committed to their identity and have not experienced a crisis. Students often demonstrate a lack of commitment. This status leads to moratorium, where students enter a crisis and struggle to balance authority figures and society's values. Black male athletes may consider alternative identities separate from their athletic identity in this status. Students move through this crisis by developing their own value system. As students begin to make decisions based on their value system, they demonstrate behaviors associated with identity achievement. This is the last stage of Marsh's statuses. These theories help us understand that the retention and professional developmental challenges Black male athletes face are linked to environmental barriers obstructing their progress towards identity achievement. Characteristics of a macrosystem, including social context, are embedded within all components of the ecological system. Patterns within a macrosystem are continued to new generations through a process of socialization, including family, media, and higher education institutions. The United States can be seen as a large macrosystem. The macrosystem includes a history of oppression and Anglo-American privilege institutionalized within society. It is important to recognize how the social context of the macro system affects Black male athletes' progress towards identity achievement. The predominant culture presents athletic achievement for Black males as the most coveted and sometimes the only means to social mobility. As a result, Black male athletes enter higher education focused on their athletic identity and may remain in Marsh's foreclosure status. Athletic achievement becomes a priority for these students, resulting in poor academic performance and limited professional development. The Academic Champs program will integrate Kolb's process of experiential learning to challenge and support students to discover unknown aspects of their identity. As described by Kolb, the learning process should bring out the learner's beliefs and theories, examine them, and integrate the new, more refined ideas into the person's belief system. The program will challenge and support students through 4 interventions. The first intervention is the Life Skills 101 course. This will focus on creating a safe environment where students can participate in class discussions and activities, including a strengths and careers test. The semester course will challenge students to consider alternative perspectives from those developed in their home community with the goal of moving students from Marsh's foreclosure status to diffusion status. The course will integrate Kolb's first ability to be an effective learner, concrete experience. Secondly, the academic advising intervention will provide students an opportunity to reflect on their experiences within the Life Skills 101 course. For example, in one of the sessions, students will write a letter to themselves as a reminder of their thought process after the Life Skills course. This focus implements Kolb's reflective observation ability. Details on this intervention will be discussed later on in this presentation. The next intervention is the Academic Champs Annual Conference. The goal of this conference is to move students through Marsh's moratorium status towards identity achievement. Student athletes will integrate their academic and professional experiences to create and or participate in a student-led conference on issues of retention and graduation. This intervention is based on Kolb's abstract conceptualization ability. The conference will challenge students to integrate all aspects of their identity and make crucial decisions about their academic and professional goals. The final intervention is the Career Readiness Program. This program will challenge students to rely on their internal value system and solidify their professional aspirations through Kolb's active experimentation ability. The program will include internships, networking opportunities, and a career day. Overall, the Academic Champs program is designed to create a holistic learning environment that targets all aspects of human development.
This slide demonstrates how our interventions align with our learning domains. By developing our interventions around these learning domains, we will provide tools for students to move through Marsh's ego identity status toward identity achievement.
Student-athlete academic advising will be one of Academic Champs' interventions. It will serve as an aid in helping in the personal and professional development of students and will be a valuable resource as students may experience feelings of anxiety and stress as they search for a crisis resolution. Students will meet with an advisor twice a month during the semester. The following intervention will take place during the second appointment with the student-athlete. The appointment is scheduled for an hour. The 4 themes in the appointment will be skills and strengths, exploring a major, exploring a career, and goals. The learning outcomes will be aimed at helping the students identify their skills and strengths and use these to explore majors and careers that could be of interest to them. Students' short and long-term goals will be reviewed and challenges and support for these will be identified. The learning standards and objectives addressed in this intervention will be professional development, life skill manager, and educated person. Perry's intellectual and ethical development theory will be used to deconstruct the dualistic thinking Black male athletes have regarding their future career aspirations. Marsh's ego identity theory will be used to challenge and support students to move through Marsh's moratorium status towards identity achievement. Black male athletes may consider alternative identities separate from their athletic identity and begin to move through this crisis by developing their own value system. Materials needed will be the student development worksheet that will be used to document the students' reflections and responses. This worksheet will be used to assess and evaluate the students' progress in achieving their goals throughout the semester. A list of strengths and skills will be used to assist the student in identifying some of their skills. A list of offered majors at the institution will also assist them in identifying possible majors based on the student's skills. This rubric will be used to assess the student's development worksheet. It helps determine if the student identified and provided enough information that will help in the development process. To begin with the session, the advisor will discuss how the student is doing and how they are performing so far in the school year. This will help determine how well the student athlete is coping with the college demands and how well he or she is integrating into the campus community. Then the student's skills will be discussed in order to help the student identify their skills and strengths. This in hope will lead them to acknowledge skills outside of their athletic ability. Once the skills and strengths have been identified, the student will go ahead and fill out the skills and strengths section from the student development worksheet. The top portion will let them identify up to 8 strengths that they acknowledge. The bottom portion would let them reflect on skills that other people have acknowledged about them. Using the skills acknowledged by the student, discussion on possible majors where those skills may be applied will begin in order to have the student identify possible majors of interest. Next, the exploring a major section will be explained to the student. They are to find resources on the majors selected and write down some information learned concerning them. In addition to this, they will be asked to identify a major if they declare one, and the reasons for choosing this major and how committed they are to it. If they are undeclared, they should mention a major that they have in mind and why they are interested in it. This section must be completed by the next appointment date. Exploring a career section is to be completed by the next appointment as well. Using the selected majors, the advisor will discuss possible career opportunities for the student. The student is to select some careers of interest, find resources on them, and write down some information learned concerning them. It will also ask them to identify their dream job. The student's short and long-term goals will then be discussed. Ways in which these goals can be challenged and supported will be identified. This will help identify goals outside of their athletic sphere and hopefully start shifting their mindset towards other identities. At the end of the session, students will have a chance for clarification or to ask any questions that they might have in mind. The next appointment date will be scheduled, and if there is any time left, the student may start working on the rest of the student development worksheet. The worksheet is to be completed and turned in by the next appointment date.
According to Kolb, learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. Implementing Kolb's process of experiential learning will provide Black male athletes the opportunity to explore their identity and enhance their academic success. The program will encourage students who are marginalized by society to examine how society has shaped their identity and aspirations. The interactions between a person and environment are very complex, and theory cannot account for all factors. The Academic Champs program is designed to provide the appropriate challenge and support for students to reach identity achievement in a wide range of learning experiences. While we recognize the limits of theory, the conceptual framework allows educators to develop a deeper understanding of a student population and create informed interventions.